Thank you, Friso. Thank you. All right. For me, belonging in the city means to feel at home and connected to a place and to a community. For me, belonging is about the right to root and to settle in the city. But our cities are fastly transforming into machines for working, for consuming, and for living, and they lose their sense of community. Because our lives are increasingly happening online, where we live in social filter bubbles, we connect to our own tribe, but we disassociate from the so-called others, for strangers. The paradox of this bubble city is that we feel more connected than ever, but at the same time more alienated. This bubble city also translates to our offline world. Many cities are facing a housing crisis, with skyrocketing real estate prices, people moving homes many times, living in ever smaller units, traveling ever longer distances to work and home. The bubble city is a transit city where it is hard to root and to settle. Gentrification is pushing social segregation and economic inequality is growing. We also see an increasing gap between higher and lower educated groups in the city. For the working and the middle classes, the bubble city offers a smooth network of privatized comfort spaces. Moving in Ubers between hermetic office buildings to gated housing blocks, from the gym to an exclusive rooftop party, we don't really use public space anymore. But for groups who cannot keep up with the speed of globalization and digitalization and who cannot afford access, the bubble city creates a divide and rift in society. So we as architects ask ourselves, can the city be more than a collection of smooth and controlled spaces and iconic buildings? And with the rise of smart cities, do we not increase the effects of segregated bubble cities? You know, the Greek word for city is polis, which underlies the city as a social political community, a spatial model for a desired form of society. How can we burst this bubble city and create a sense of community today and for our future cities? Okay, let's look a little bit deeper in how people identify with the city. We believe the bubble city operates on two levels. The home sphere, where you are in your safe tribe, including your online social bubble. And secondly, the urban sphere, the Gesellschaftssphere, the abstract, anonymous realm of the city in which we can still meet strangers at work, at school, at the gym, where we shop, go out and play. But what is missing though is the realm in between, the community sphere or the Gemeinschaftssphere. A local place where you build long-term relations with neighbors, with local businesses, where your children play and make new friends outside of your tribe. This is the local area network close to home that is missing in our cities today. What we want is to have the social experience of a village, but in the center of the city, right in the middle of the city. For this, we need to create conditions for people to root, to settle and to invest in local social networks. I'm going to show you some examples of mixed-use housing projects that have this quality, that are community-based and bottom-up developed. We can call them urban villages. Such as this one, Meer als Wonen in Zurich. It's a Baugenossenschaft, which means it is collectively developed, cooperatively developed, by the users, for the users, non-profit. All the profit is going back into the community. They don't have developers or investors that profit from the situation. And this community develops its own facilities, like bars, shops, even a museum about how the project functions. But also Kleiberg, this apartment block that was sold for €1 to a developer in the post-war area of the Bijlmermeer, where nobody wanted to live anymore, completely run down, and then bought by young people who turned the apartments into affordable small apartments for them to start in the housing market. This became an urban catalyst and transformed this area. But also this fantastic project of social housing in Los Angeles that is aimed for the long-term homeless and that is facilitating a whole set of community spaces, including a health clinic, fitness and art facilities and communal living room. And this famous example here in Vienna, Pool House, that is aimed for new people arriving in the city, migrants, that share a kitchen, laundry room, rooftop pool, that acts as a social incubator. These are all examples of bottom-up community-developed residential projects. They are commercial, they don't lose money, they pay for themselves, but they don't take profit of the city. They instigate social and community life, and they are catalysts for urban developments. And in that sense, very important for transforming the city. So we can develop a whole set of new urban policies to facilitate this. And I think I can best illustrate this if I show you a project that we've done, which is called Super Lofts. Please start the movie. So Super Lofts is an open framework and community project based on 5 principles. The first principle is that of diversifying the different units so that it accommodates different lifestyles and budgets. From 35 square meter to 170 square meter, all kinds of people are living together in this building, and they share a community life. So you see family houses to atelier homes for artists. We see affordable self-built homes that are built within this concrete framework that we're offering, to turnkey luxury apartments. Everything is possible in this project for various budgets, and that creates a very, very diverse community. This is a very simple principle, and it works very well. The building allows this kind of diversity by having an open framework, an open grid. The second principle is that of integrating shared spaces, such as roof terraces, gardens, and communal spaces on the street level. For example, a children's playing room, a kitchen, or a shared living room. The building, in this way, stimulates social interaction and a sense of a village in the middle of the city. The third design principle for an urban village, like Super Lofts, is to create a sense of ownership through active user participation. We involve the users in a voting process on how the building is developed, which facilities we make, which apartment mix, and we also involve them in co-creation workshops. So the project at the end becomes tailor-made and locally embedded. The fourth design principle is to create a sense of interdependence between users and their environment in an urban ecosystem, integrating all the flows of people, capital, materials, water, green, waste, and energy into a unifying circular system and making the users aware of these dependencies, such as solar power, and a smart grid, which produces and stores energy locally, geothermal cooling and heating, the grey water cycle irrigating the green roofs and landscape with rainwater. Domestic waste is collected and through a biogas installation turned into energy and compost, and the building materials are recycled. Residents are rewarded with a token which they can spend in the local area and local businesses if they participate in community organization or in the maintenance of the building. This is what we call an urban ecosystem. The fifth principle, the last one, is that of creating an international knowledge network. We have co-created 9 super lofts in the Netherlands, in different cities, with different local communities. And in each city, we are focusing on different experiments in sustainable building design. We plan to connect the different communities in the coming years so that the community can profit from each other's knowledge in an open source network internationally. We are working with local partners all over the world to set up local communities and experimental projects. Some focus on water management, others on affordable housing, others on recycling. The results are urban villages with local communities who invest in their surroundings and have a strong sense of belonging. Thank you very much.